forget, this road's slow. I wanted to do a YouTube video to basically talk about how crazy the car and bike community is, because, dude, like, I'm 31, so years ago, you know, you go to a car meet, everything's pretty chill. Everybody's hanging out. You know, you don't have people trying to fight all the time. It just seems like these days, the car community is, and the bike community, it's just raunchy, you know? And people are ruining it for other people now, and it's just not what it used to be. There's plenty of awesome people who attend the car meets and the bike meets, but when you look at, like, you know, what happened just now in Gatlinburg, and you just see it, it's like, no wonder why, number one, cops get so pissed so quickly, right? Like, people are always like, oh, I don't know why he was so mad at me, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's because he has to deal with freaking idiots all the time. And, like, different varieties of stupid and idiotic. Like, if I was a cop, dude, I gotta say, I understand where some of these cops are coming from. Obviously, there's some, like, real, I don't know, real jerk cops out there. But the majority of the police are actually really cool. They're pretty chill. But they just go through a lot more than the average person would understand. And Gatlinburg is a great scenario, you know? Everybody wanted to have a car meet and have some bikes come up and, you know, have a good time. And then, you know, people are doing takeovers, they're fighting, they're doing burnouts, they're roll racing, and it's just, dude, that's not what it's for. You know, that area is not what that is for. And so people are just ruining the whole scene. And for a guy like myself, you know, I enjoy being able to meet new people, see things and all this other stuff. But man, I see these meets pop up and I'm just like, I make the decision. I'm like, I'm not gonna go, you know, because one, I hate the guilty by association feeling of being like, you know, I don't want to be seen around people who are doing that kind of stuff. And then two, it's like, well, that's pretty much it, dude. I just don't want to be around people who are doing that kind of stuff. So that's why, you know, you don't always see me at meets or doing stuff like that. Because of that exact reason. Now, I will say, I have been to some really amazing meets, you know. One of my favorite meets to go to is a tiny meet. Generally get, I don't know, anywhere from 40 to, I'd say like 40 to 60 people that show up, maybe. I don't know. But it is, it's by Loud Culture. And it's a meet that we do in Athens, Georgia. And dude, it is so chill every time I go out there. And they have like a really good, you know, system. Like, they don't play any games. If somebody's doing something stupid, you're probably going to get kicked out. Those are the kind of meets I like to go to, because I know that somebody's probably not going to go out and do something stupid, and I don't have to feel bad about being in that area. And of course, with the meets and everything that goes on, you know, you got some people that literally, they just want to be seen in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like, they see all these, you know, certain people are going, maybe influencers or, you know, certain people or whatever. They just want to be there. They want to be in the mix. You end up getting a lot of people there who don't have cars or drive nice cars or have bikes or anything like that. Which, again, you know, meets like this are to bring people together. But when you start attracting all these other people who really don't have any investment into the game, that's when you start seeing them, you know, wanting to egg on fights or egg on takeovers and all this other stuff. And obviously it's the people who have the cars and the bikes too. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy or anything like that. That is not my goal. I am not a Karen. I'm all for, you know, fun and games, but I'm here for people doing it in a respectful way, you know, honoring, you know, the fact that there's families on roads that we share with and all this other stuff. It's really not that hard to do the right thing and to just be kind and courteous to other people that we share the public with. But, you know, just seeing what's happening, man, it's like, no wonder why nobody is, like, businesses don't want to support this stuff, and that's a big thing, right? Like, if I do a bike meet, I want to be able to support a business, but because of things that go on, it makes it really hard, because they see what other, you know, companies have gone through, they see what certain meets have brought to the table, and it just, it sucks, dude. Now I am getting ready to do a little meet / ride out of my own. We're gonna meet up in Monroe, Georgia, in front of Scoops, and we're all gonna go out, and I've got a camera that's gonna be there, gonna get some pictures for everybody, hook everybody up with some cool pictures for social media, and then we'll go ride out and stop somewhere, I believe in Lawrenceville. Should be a good time. See, like driving past this lady, I don't have to slow down because I was never speeding. She waved at me. Now, if I was speeding, flying past her, she probably would not have waved. She would have been pissed, and that would have added to the negative stereotype of sport bikes. Now look, it is easy to speed on these bikes. It's easy to get yourself caught up and kind of locked into that game mode and everything like that of the way you want to ride. But hey, just a little bit of self-control goes a long, long way. Because if you think about it, it's really not that hard to not speed and do crazy stuff on your motorcycle. That's coming from somebody who, you know, drags knee everywhere he goes, and I don't have to go super fast to drag knee. Also, I can wheelie everywhere I go. I don't wheelie everywhere I go. I don't do that stuff. Now, there's times where, because like realistically, it's crazy for me to say this, like looking back at how I used to ride years ago and, you know, how I am now. I very rarely, like coming out of first and second gear, I very rarely am full throttle, like very, very, very rarely. And so much so to where it'll catch me off guard, and for some reason I'm like, oh, I'm going to pin it on, you know, coming out of first gear into second gear or something like that. And the bike will do a power wheelie. I'm like, oh, you know, I got to put it down. But I can obviously do power wheelies, but I can do clutch up wheelies, which really, that's like a very intentional wheelie. Power wheelies can be if you're trying to do it, but that's not, you know, my thing. But a clutch up wheelie is like super easy for me to do, and I just don't do it. And it just takes a little bit of that self-control to just do the right thing. Like here, I really want to drag knee here, but I'm not enjoying the condition of the road or anything like that, so I'll just take it easy. You know, I think a lot of people get into motorcycle wrecks because they kind of overcomplicate the way that they're gonna ride their motorcycle by trying to go fast or, you know, do something to look cool or whatever. I took that inside just because of the way that the gravel was. I didn't want to be on the outside in case a car was in my lane, so I took that inside route. If you're in the middle of nowhere and there's nobody on the road and you want to get on it, hey, do your thing. Hop on it real quick. But I think there's a big difference between, you know, somebody who's like, you know, they enter a safe space to be able to go fast for a second and then they're done. Like, that's it. They go back to the speed limit, they're cruising, doing their thing. And then you got the other people who don't have any self-control, and they go fast and they don't stop going fast, and they go fast and fast and fast for like miles. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you come up on a family who's pulling out of their driveway and you're going 160 miles an hour down some country road and you smash in that minivan, you kill their kids, stay in prison. Don't come out of prison, because you just took somebody's innocent life, you took somebody's child life, you took somebody's brother or sister's life. I mean, it has such huge consequences across the board of the entire family, and you know, that's a stupid thing. And that's why I try to, like, you know, I try to like talk about stuff that I believe is going to help people do the right thing. And I don't say this stuff because I'm like, oh, I'm judging everybody for this. No, I'm saying it because if you get yourself into a bad situation like that, the law is going to judge you. The law is going to hold you accountable for your actions. It's well worth it if you mess up, you know. We all gotta deal with consequences. But it's like, do I want people to have to go through that? No, I really don't. And I would rather try to like be an advocate to say positive things, to try to let people know, hey, let's not act like idiots because it's going to have a bad repercussion over here.